Right. Yeah. So how will AI take your dev jobs? I had planned a slide about myself, but we can skip that. Thank you for the introduction. I also implement AI systems for a living. Shameless a plug. But if you're in the market for such systems, then you can have a look at Sellmeijer.com. And I also give courses at workshops about AI automation. Let me start by saying AI is amazing. I use it all the time. I don't think I translate any text anymore in any other way. I use it all the time for brainstorming and coming up with food plan. What I have to eat. I'm definitely not an AI skeptic. I think it's an amazing tool. It changed the way that we as developers are perceived. We were the golden boys and girls of the 21st century. During COVID, companies threw money at everybody that was able to apt-get or had opened an IDE before. But now things have changed. AI is here now, and it will make software developers redundant. Big tech started with major layoffs, and the echo chamber that is LinkedIn started repeating, developers now redundant, we don't need them. In a similar vein, of course, the many CEOs of the AI tech world, Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, said that 90% of all code will be made by AI in 3 to 6 months. Well, when he said that, that was 6 months ago. So what happened? Also, Mark Zuckerberg, of course, said that probably in 2025, they're going to have a mid-level AI engineer that you have at your company that can write code. He probably also said, guys, hurry up. We have 2 more months left because 2025 is almost over. And the former CEO of Google said, well, we believe that in the next year, the vast majority of programmers will be replaced by AI. So all of us, we have to start looking for another job, unfortunately. We have 5 more months left because he said that in April. And the CEO of NVIDIA has a great idea. He says that electricians and plumbers will be needed by the hundreds and thousands in the new working world. So yeah, we can start learning a new profession. He is also, he probably also said, my company is pretty much the only one that is making a profit out of AI. This is an image. I'm not going to explain it in full detail, but it basically shows a little bit of the AI tech bubble that is forming, where NVIDIA is investing in AI companies, AI startups, and they are actually in turn then buying the GPUs. Basically, NVIDIA is the only one that makes money with it. So he has an incentive, right, to say this. Obviously, we're not without jobs. So why didn't AI take over programmer jobs? And why will LLM-based AI never take over AI jobs? There is one unsolvable problem with AI, and that it's not intelligent. It's very good at simulating intelligence. And it's very good at making you, the user, hallucinate that there's somebody inside the shell, that there's a ghost in the shell, but that's not the case. If we take 12 neuroscientists together, throw them in a room, then after a day or so, they come out and they have to come up, with the definition of intelligence. You get 12 different answers. You get a dozen different answers. But we can all agree on one thing, is that intelligence is that what gives humans the cognitive ability to learn from concepts, understand and reason, including the capacity to recognize patterns, innovate plans, solve problems, and employ language to communicate. All of these things that AI is not really capable of doing so. LLMs, the reason why this is the case is that LLMs are by design trained to find patterns in text. So it's very good at producing something similar to what already exists, but struggles to create anything new, as I'm sure you all have noticed. So for of course, is not written through patterns in previously written code, but instead it requires a lot of abstract thinking. So in order to replace developers, you need some sort of abstract thinking device that is not trained with previous text, but it just is just able to think in an abstract manner the way that humans can do it. LLM does not provide that. And another reason is that writing code is not the hard part of software development, right? It's hard to break down problems into the precise deterministic instructions that we need to have a computer do what we want to do. And then the idea that we can do better when we take the vague, imprecise, expressive richness of the human language to precisely define behavior in a computer system seems to be very far from the truth. Programming is not just writing the code; it's organizing our thinking, communicating about it, and communicating and understanding with our teammates, and ultimately to have the computer do exactly what we want and not just something close to it. And on top of that, of course, it's been trained with all code. And what is considered good code is very context specific. In one case, it can be very good to do one thing. In another case, it can be very, very bad. Going from human language to then the precise behavior in the computer is probably not the right method for this abstract thinking device to function through. So LLM-based AIs won't replace the software developer, but of course, we're all using AI right now, and AI has made us way more efficient. I use AI-assisted programming pretty much all the time, and I feel I've become more efficient. And it's great at writing boilerplate code, and in smaller increments, like Copilot's autocomplete, I'm able to increase the speed with which I program. We're gonna go. In a second, we'll start talking more about this DORA report where I took these images from. But a recent DORA report stated that more than 80% of developers agree with me. They use AI for coding, and they say they have become more efficient, and their code quality has improved. So then, if you think about it, AI makes us more efficient, then there are less people of us needed, right? Because for the same piece of software, we don't need 10 developers, we can do it with half. Well, not exactly. There is something called the Jevons paradox. Maybe you've heard of it. It basically postulates that when efficiency increases, the consumption increases even more. And the way this works is that the Jevons paradox actually happens when a technological change increases efficiency or productivity, and then this efficiency boost then decreases the consumer price. And then this reduction in price will then increase the quantity demanded. I think there's a case, there's a very strong case for this to be the case in software development. So we are becoming more efficient, we're faster at producing software, and that means that per piece of software, also a bit of an abstract term, but per piece of software, the price will go down because you need less man hours to produce it. And if you've worked in a, for instance, a Scrum team before, there is always a major backlog of features that you want to implement, and it's forever growing, and you keep adding to it, and you have a new rollout, and more stuff gets piled on top. When we develop faster, this would also likely continue. Another thing is like a lot of companies that didn't have the money before to make a new to make new products or to make a tech product, they would be able to afford it now. A lot of internal tools that were too expensive to justify, but also completely new consumer-facing products are now going to be made because it has become cheaper. And there's a lot of data that backs up that there's a massive unmet demand for tech, and it's only going to increase. So currently there are 40 million tech jobs unfilled due to a lack of skilled talent. And 85.2 million expected unfilled positions by 2030. There are also studies that say that companies may lose 8.5 trillion in revenue by 2030 due to developer shortage. Though this was from 2018, but I don't think that likely this would be the unmet demand for it could be then increasing because of the Jevons paradox, because we will probably have more companies that want to go into software development. Employment of software development is expected to grow by 17% by 2033. This from BLS.gov from this year, and of course they had already known by then that there was something like AI. So there will be a lot of software for us to develop still. Despite AI's advances, there is no sign of decline in overall developer demand today. So let's go back to the title screen. How AI will take your dev job to the next level, right? Because you can use AI to become a better developer, to be better at as a team to create software. But then how do you do that? How can you use the maximum benefit of AI? Going back to the DORA report, it's a very interesting report made by the Google Cloud team. So I suggest that everybody reads it at some point, because it's really, really good to understand where we stand as every year they come up with new reports, but especially now it's really important to understand better where we stand as a community of developers in the presence of AI. DORA is the largest and longest running research program of its kind, and they seek out to understand the capabilities that drive software delivery and operations performance. So the report from 2025 this year stated, or the title was that State of AI-Assisted Software Development. And then what did they do? They basically surveyed a lot of different tech teams from all over the world, and they measured a ton of performance metrics and identified 7 clusters of companies. And it's more nuanced than what I'm about to say, but it ranged from all the way from basically the most inefficient bad teams to all the way the teams that performed the best and had very good throughput of the software that they built. Then they analyzed how each of these clusters work with AI, and then they identified how AI affected the performance metrics. And from this, they deducted 7 golden tips to best incorporate AI in software development. And I'm going to give you these tips. So effect of AI use on dev team outcomes. So this plot may be a little bit confusing. It was for me at first. So this is basically the most important illustration from that article. You have on the y-axis the performance metrics that they measured, and then on the x-axis you have the estimated effect. Now, if it's on the right side of this dotted line, it increased. AI had an increasing effect on these performance metrics. If it's on the left side, it had a decreasing effect. Now, the blue dots are when it's positive, when it's making the team better. The blue dots should be on the right side. If something negative has been decreased, it will be good for the team if it will be on the left side of this line, right? So for instance, burnout and friction would be way better if it would be on the left side of this line than on the right side, because then AI would be increasing the amount of burnout and friction people perceive, which is not the case. There was barely any effect. Some teams, well, we'll dive into that later. Then when I take all the 7 clusters and I throw them all together, that's basically what this plot would look like. So this is the average basically of everything together. And what you see here is that there is a very big negative point, and it's all the way up to the right. It's one of the biggest increases of these values of these performance metrics was software delivery instability. So when you use AI a lot in teams, what happens on average, that software becomes more unstable. But this is not the case for every single team. So let's go through each of the 7 tips to see what we can do to reap the benefits of AI and stay away from the negatives. So the first tip is to clarify and socialize your AI policies. The DORA report showed that when your tech team has a clear communicated stance on AI for coding, you both improve individual effectiveness and organizational performance. This clarity provides the psychological safety, right, needed for effective experimentation with AI. So you don't have to hide it. You can come up with strategies to use it better. Basically the ambiguity around AI stifles adoption and creates risk, for instance, by increasing friction. The second tip is to connect AI to your internal context. I hadn't thought of this when before reading this article, but I think this is incredibly smart. What you can do is, of course, connect your AI tools to your internal context. This has the added benefit that individual effectiveness and code quality are improved even further. This means going beyond just simply procuring the licenses and integrating it into your IDE, but investing the engineering effort to give your AI tools secure access to internal documentation and code bases and other data sources. So the AI that helps you program actually has knowledge of what your company is doing. So this provides the company specific context necessary for the tools to be maximally effective, compared to organizations that just rely on foundational models, as I was doing. Then, of course, connected to this is very clearly to treat your data as a strategic asset. Of course, you're only able to do these kind of things if you have a healthy data ecosystem. So you need a healthy data ecosystem to get the benefits out of connecting that context to your AI. And what we see, of course, is actually this should be also on here, because like embrace and fortify your safety nets. That this actually increased the individual effectiveness, and then if you have this, it also decreased the software delivery instability. Because when we're coding AI in an AI-assisted manner, we quickly increase the volume and velocity of changes, which can also lead to more instability. So your version control system is a critical safety net, they write, and we should encourage teams to become highly proficient in using rollback and revert features, as this practice is associated with better team performance in an AI-assisted environment. So on one side, we need better coding checks when we are AI assisted, because there's just way more that we push out, and at the same time, we should be able to at any time roll back a feature. Then tip number 5, reduce the size of work items. So intuitively, we should reduce how much the packages of what we push out. So while AI can increase the perception of individual effectiveness by generating large amounts of code, this isn't necessarily the most important metric. Instead, we should focus on outcomes. So we should enforce the discipline of working in smaller batches, which then improves product performance and reduces friction from AI-assisted teams. Considering the friction, they don't really hypothesize why this would reduce friction. But we can imagine that when you use AI to more quickly create your smaller batches of improvements, you may have more cognitive load in the team available to focus on other things like increasing communication about implementations or developer experience. 2 more tips. Tip number 6, center users' need in product strategy. This is in general incredibly important, but what happens here is that because we're way faster in producing code, if we as a team if we don't have a user centered focus, we very quickly end up making the wrong product or the wrong features, which then ultimately will have to be rolled back, or even worse, we just have a product that doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And they showed that a team performs better when they have this product strategy, because then they go very, very fast in the right direction. Tip number 7, invest in your internal platform. Now, here, internal platforms are referred to as a set of capabilities that is shared across multiple organizations or services, directed at making these capabilities widely available across the organization. So, for instance, internal APIs or internal software that facilitates developing software. A quality internal platform is a key enabler for magnifying the positive effects of AI on organizational performance. These platforms provide the necessary guardrails and shared capabilities that allow AI benefits to scale effectively and securely across the organization. So, in summary, LLM-based AI cannot replace software developers. We've seen that LLM-based AI, however, can make us way more efficient, can make us develop software way faster. And this increases the demand for software, thus developers. And DORA provides us with 7 actionables to benefit even more from AI adoption. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. If you're in the market for AI automation software, have a look at Sellmeijer.com, and also workshops.de if you want to learn more about how to create AI automation tools. Thank you very much.